I know Kung Fu.
We've seen Neo from The Matrix utilize amazing abilities. But did you know the One has some hidden powers you might not know about? Let's dig into them. We're gonna need guns. Lots of guns. Man, being the One really has its perks, doesn't it? Just looking at all the incredible powers and abilities Neo has almost makes me jealous. Well, not super jealous because his real world is terrifying and traumatic. But still, you know, being able to stop bullets with your mind would be super cool. But did you know there are a ton of hidden powers that Neo possesses? Today's video is about breaking down all the crazy secret abilities Neo has in the Matrix trilogy.
Come on, stop trying to hit me and hit me!
Let's get into it. When you sit at home or you're at work, do you ever wish you could completely change things up? What if instead of sitting in your office, you were sitting on a tropical beach somewhere, sitting on a nice cold fruity beverage? Or say you wanted your office located on Jupiter, okay? Or if you just wanted to change everything and have mankind live side by side with dinosaurs. Strange, but okay. Well, you and I probably can't do that, but you know who can? Neo. And that's all because he has the power to manipulate reality within the Matrix to whatever he wants. Now the real explanation is a lot more basic. As cool as it would be to have Neo be some type of magical god who's probably wielding an Infinity Stone, the fact of the matter is that Neo just has the ability to access programs and lines of code and can change them to how he wants. When you put it that way, it doesn't sound so special, but it's a really cool thing to imagine. Now we hope the next Matrix movie takes full advantage of this.
Mr. Anderson.
The path to the One is a mind-bending mix of prophecy and just straight computer code. Put simply, it's a never-ending cycle. When the One's life ends, another one begins. It's known as the Prime Program, and it's something that can keep starting over and over again. But what if we told you that Neo has the ability to change this cycle into something else? All that controls it is a series of programs and sub-programs, which means that technically, Neo should have the ability to rewrite the Prime Program. Now, chances are Neo would never want to do this because it could cause a multitude of problems, but if he was able to work it out, he could feasibly rewrite or delete the part of the sub-program that says the previous one has to be gone before a new one can be born. So Neo would create another one, but would the name still stay the same? Would he be called the 2? 1.5? And if that new individual also created a new one, what would that be called? Uh-oh, my brain's starting to hurt. Yeah, maybe it's best that Neo keeps things the way they are. Here's one you might not know about, but I think it's incredibly useful. Neo has the ability to sense any changes inside the Matrix. Like if someone tried to introduce a foreign program, or if there was a part that became corrupt, Neo would be alerted to it. The only downside is that this power is so specific that Neo really needs to be operating at full power in order to utilize it. For example, Neo didn't realize that the dastardly Agent Smith reinserted himself into the Matrix, but I think that can be checked up to Neo not being fully accustomed to his powers yet. But man, this is a great ability. I would love to see someone try and sneak something into the Matrix now without Neo knowing about it. I wonder what sensation that feels like. Imagine you're sitting at home and suddenly you feel a slight disturbance because someone added an extra pigeon halfway around the globe. There's a chance something like this can be overwhelming, but if anyone can handle it, it's probably Neo. One of my favorite scenes in The Matrix Reloaded is when Neo removes the bullet from Trinity's heart. Not only is it an awesome moment, but it also tells us just how powerful Neo's healing abilities can be. And although it's super easy to chalk this feat up to a miracle, or an act of true love or something like that, it's actually relatively simple. Neo can heal people by adjusting a segment of code so that it returns to its previous state. That's crazy. Like Trinity's wound was a fatal physical blow, so we can assume anything similar to that Neo would be able to fix. Be it a broken arm or a paper cut. It's always the paper cuts that hurt the most. But this means that more than likely Neo can heal sicknesses too if he really wanted. Like if someone had something serious like measles or something simple like the common cold, Neo should be able to just alter that person's inner code and rewrite the bad part to make them all better. Dr. Neo's open for business. Hi, Dr. Neo. There's a really cool moment at the Mobile Avenue station where Neo witnesses a future that's not very pleasant. In this vision, he sees a river of sentinels hanging out, flowing in an infinite abyss and probably thinking about how much they hate humanity. It shows that Neo does have the ability to see the future just like the Oracle. Sure, it was only a glimpse, but I'm sure clairvoyance is just like any other muscle. If you work it out enough, it will become stronger. Like obviously the Oracle is better at it than Neo, But that doesn't mean Neo couldn't grow and even surpass the Oracle's abilities when it comes to predicting future events. Maybe even Neo could have learned to see all potential futures like Doctor Strange with his time stone. If that were the case, he'd probably be able to analyze every possible decision made and always make the correct choice. Maybe this could have helped him in the final fight with Smith, but at least that all sort of worked out in the end. Maybe this one is a bit of a cheat because it's only partially true. Yes, Neo can revive fallen friends and allies, but it's complicated. Bringing someone back from the dead is a little different than healing an injury. The way Neo heals people involves rewriting code, but something different happens when someone actually dies in the Matrix. But let's step back first. When someone first goes into the Matrix, their mind is converted into lines of code. So say that person bites the bullet and perishes within the Matrix. Yes, that person would also die in real life. But that code is still within the system, and it's something Neo is able to access and alter. So he could revive people within the Matrix, although the results would be different. They might know they're just a constructed figment and probably act a little differently. I don't know how good this ability actually is. Sounds like it could cause a series of headaches and problems. Maybe sometimes it's best to just leave things as they are. If Neo puts his mind to it, there's not much that can hurt him physically in the Matrix. Not even the force of a massive nuclear blast. And that totally falls in line with everything we already know about Neo. Because we know he can manipulate his surroundings in any way that he sees fit. But still, a nuclear blast? You'd think that would be a problem for the One, but nope. If he wanted to, a nuclear bomb could go off right next to him as he reads a book. And when the dust settles, he'd still be in the same spot, relaxing like it wasn't a big deal. That's how powerful Neo is. And it's what makes him such a fun character to watch. Like if a nuclear bomb wasn't enough to make Neo sweat, what do you think would be powerful enough to hurt him? Do you think a gigantic meteor crashed into Earth destroying everything, Neo would be quick enough to rewrite the code and come out fine? I don't see why he wouldn't. If you're asked to think of the most iconic scene in The Matrix, chances are there's one clear-cut winner. The scene where Neo stops the bullets should be ingrained in all of our heads forever because of how monumental and awesome it truly is. But does it open the question of what other things Neo can move with his mind? If you think about it, this implies that he could stop or move anything with just a simple thought. And he probably doesn't have to be in the vicinity in order to do it. Like he could flick his wrist and someone's coffee cup in another country could go flying across the room.
He is the one.
It just goes to show how in the Matrix, physical ability is almost always inferior to mental fortitude. You can't beat a strong mind. And that's the really great thing about Neo's telekinesis, is that it seems to bleed over to the outside world. What do I mean? Well, we'll get into that next. I like to think of Neo like a gigantic Wi-Fi router, because when he's not in the Matrix, he's still connected to it. That's a power Neo never got a chance to fully develop before his death, but it had the potential to be groundbreaking. I like to point to the scene in The Matrix Reloaded where Neo was able to stop that group of Sentinels. It was basically like Neo could use his telekinesis powers even outside the Matrix. Now there's probably a better explanation for it, like he's more able to access all the moving parts within the system, both inside and out, that includes the machines, but it's still a cool ability. And given that a lot of Neo's powers could become stronger if he practiced them, there's no telling what could have happened if Neo underwent training with this particular ability. What else would he have been able to do? Could he have stopped the entire machine city with a single thought? I know my mind was blown when I realized that Neo's able to move between not just the Matrix and the real world, but any other world as well. That opens the door to a whole new range of possibilities that I hope is explored in a future Matrix movie. Just look at when Neo journeyed into the Mobile Avenue station, which is like a holding area between the Source and the Matrix. On top of being one of the most fascinating locations in the entire franchise, it further defined what Neo could and could not do as the One. Now in the Matrix trilogy, we know Neo never fully gained access to the Source, but if he did, there's good reason to believe he could then jump to any other nearby world. Probably one we just don't know about yet. Think about for a second what else could be out there. Entirely new worlds completely unexplored. It's such an exciting possibility and goes to show just how much Neo's powers operate and exist even outside the Matrix. You know when you're playing video games and you can enter a cheat code that makes you incredibly strong? Like being able to punch an NPC into outer space strong? Well, yeah, that's basically what Neo's able to do. On the surface, it just looks like Neo can punch or kick anything into dust with his extreme fighting skills, and let's face it, Keanu Reeves could probably do that. But in reality, it all goes back to coding. To destroy objects with his bare hands, Neo just has to edit the code of whatever he's up against. Like say he sees a car parked in his favorite spot. He could simply rewrite some code mid-punch and turn that car into nothing but scrap metal. Like for reference, just look at the epic final fight with Agent Smith. That wasn't really a true testament of Neo's strength because Smith was an anomaly, but it's still pretty impressive. Now excuse me a second, this just makes me want to do some push-ups. 99! No, 100! What could be better than one Keanu Reeves? How about a whole army of Keanu Reeves? Note to self, pitch a movie to Hollywood about an army of Keanu Reeves. It's guaranteed to make $1 billion. Anyways, in The Matrix, one of Neo's greatest hidden abilities is the power to create clones of himself. Now, we haven't seen this wonderful skill in action, but it's easy to see how it would be done. All that Neo would need to do is just copy and duplicate the Prime program, and then boom, you got a whole bunch of Neos running around. Like if Agent Smith did it in The Matrix Reloaded, there's no reason why Neo couldn't do it too. But besides being just a generally awesome concept, what could an army of Neos even accomplish? In my mind, I see that army like a swarm of white blood cells expanding everywhere to attack hostile invaders in a coordinated attack. Now how cool would that be? Come on, Neo, realize you can use this power. It's one thing to manipulate reality, but the ability to actually create new programs is on a whole different level. And of course, Neo could probably do it in his sleep. But that ability to create programs just comes with the territory when you're basically a living god. But what's that thing Uncle Ben always says?
With great power comes great responsibility.
So if Neo has the ability to create new programs, what should he create? Like if it were me, I'd first create a program that says ice cream and candy is actually healthy for you, while broccoli makes you puke, which tells me I should never be the one. So Neo should probably look at programs that make it easier for his allies and friends to control their superhuman abilities. That would definitely make life just overall better for our protagonists. This is probably one of the most useful powers Neo has in his arsenal, and although the movies would probably be boring if he knew how to use this, it's still fun to think about.
He's doing his Superman thing.
Another power that Neo has at his disposal is the ability to adjust what programs do. Now, this sounds similar to creating new programs, but it's actually very different. Let me explain. The power makes it so that Neo can change certain program functions and what they do. If you think about it, that means he could have altered the prophetic programs that ended up taking Neo's life. Like, let's play out a certain scenario. Neo could have rewritten the Oracle by changing her protocols. Even if it was a minor change, it could have altered everything. But sure, just because Neo has this ability doesn't mean he should use it. If he rewrote the Oracle's program, then he would be no better than Smith, and no one wants to be like that guy. But maybe there's a happy medium ground somewhere. Maybe there's certain programs that need rewriting. Not sure which ones those are, but I believe Neo would ultimately make the right decision. Being the ultimate good guy is sort of his thing, so I trust his judgment. If Neo really wanted to, he could create something entirely different than everything we know. Like the biggest and most beneficial thing that Neo could do would be create a parallel version of the Matrix. How's that for a concept? Like a new training program, but bigger. Obviously, I don't think Neo would create the exact same thing again, but it opens up the opportunity for Neo to create a world without any antagonistic components to begin with. You know how Neo has to rewrite, create, or alter programs that aren't working in the original Matrix? Well, if he creates a parallel version, that wouldn't be necessary because all the programs would be solid to begin with. But what would Neo actually create? I doubt it'd be the same as what came before, so we have to think of what Neo would consider as a new utopia. I'm not sure what it would look like, but I have the feeling it would be a truly marvelous place to behold. Wow, Neo has some amazing powers. Makes you wish you were the one, right? Let us know in the comments your favorite Neo ability. And what would you change reality to look like if given the chance? Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button for more awesome content like this. Thanks for watching CBR.